Good morning, welcome to Headline Focus here live on Core Politics with me, Rob Double. It is Wednesday, the 21st of March 2018. Let's have a look at what's making the political headlines today. So to start off with the Brexit transition period, the reaction starts. Now this is the key real sticking point, it seems, other than the Irish border, in terms of the UK domestic political reaction to the Brexit transition deal. And it's over the fisheries policy, and particularly the common fisheries policy, which the UK will remain in during that transition period, to the quite severe reaction of a lot of the fishing community and indeed a lot of the fishing lobby as well. Jacob Rees-Mogg will hold a press conference on the banks of the River Thames this morning as part of the Fishing for Leave protest against the Brexit transition deal. Now, the vessel called the Holidays will then sail from Embankment Pier to the Houses of Parliament, with Tory MPs Craig McKinley and Ross Thompson on board. And what they're going to be doing is, in the press release, his words, symbolically dump fish in protest at the British fishing industry being trapped and subjected to another 21 months of the inept common fisheries policy. And they go on to further say that could see much of the UK fleet put out of business. Now, when we say dumping fish, we're thinking it's going to be literally fish being dumped into the water symbolically alongside the Houses of Parliament, alongside Westminster, as that symbolic message that they're not happy with the common fisheries policy continuing into that transition period. Again, this is a big issue, or it seems to be the main issue in terms of domestic political reaction, so keep an eye on that in terms of how it's going to develop, particularly going into the council meeting tomorrow and Friday, and also beyond as well. Juncker, let's focus on the EU in the next story as well, though, and this is regarding Jean-Claude Juncker, who's the European Commission president. Now, he's getting criticism from both people in Europe and in the UK over a letter he sent to Vladimir Putin, who's just won recently the Russian presidential election again. Now, Juncker congratulated Vladimir Putin, wishing him every success and urging closer ties between the EU and Russia. Now, that has gone down particularly badly in the context of what's happened in the UK, in Salisbury, and indeed in the context of the UK push for a Western and indeed global reaction against Russia in terms of what they allege regarding the nerve agent poisoning on the former double agent in the UK. Now, where this is going to go, we don't know. This has probably got some miles in it in terms of political reaction. Committee chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, Tom Tugendhat, voiced his disgust at Juncker last night with a scathing tweet and backing the anti-Putin stance taken by Guy Verhofstadt, who's the European Parliament's Brexit coordinator. So you can see their difference in the European leaders as well over Mr Juncker's letter. And Boris Johnson, who's appearing at the Commons Foreign Affairs Select Committee this morning, will make his opinions known about his reaction to Mr Juncker's letter as well. So there's definitely mileage in this story today, and probably will have some ramifications over the next few days as well. Donald Tusk, who's of course the council president, actually went further and refused to sign any letter towards Vladimir Putin regarding his recent election success. So as you can see, Juncker perhaps out on his own, slightly more so than previously, regarding his stance on Russia. Finally, one more story then. Now, this is a big political story. If you work in the NHS, NHS staff are going to get a pay increase of 6.5% over 3 years, and this is going to be confirmed today, reportedly in a written statement to the House. Now, ministers have also reportedly, according to The Guardian, abandoned plans to force staff to give up a day's holiday in order to receive this 6.5% pay hike. That's apparently gone now, so it's going to be a 6.5% pay hike over 3 years on its own without any conditions attached on board. It's yet to be formally agreed by unions and ministers. It could cost about £4 billion to the state, but the change covers all staff on the Agenda for Change contract, which is about 1.3 million staff across the UK, so a really substantial number getting that pay increase. And as you can imagine, this was a hugely political issue and remains a political issue regarding the public sector pay cuts and the pay squeezes and the real terms with inflation, meaning pay cuts for public sector staff. This has been a real volatile issue, particularly the last election. The Conservatives, Theresa May, obviously wanting to tackle this right now in terms of her domestic agenda. In terms of devolved governments, this is what's happening in England. It'll be up to the devolved governments to decide whether to implement this deal outside of England. So we'll probably await some news on that as well. That's pretty much it for today. You're up to date. Don't forget you can find all the latest on what we're doing here on Core Politics on our Facebook page and Twitter right here. We're going to be at the European Council meeting tomorrow and Friday over in Brussels, so Headline Focus might be delayed a little bit tomorrow, but on Friday we'll be bringing it from the centre of the European Council meeting in the European Council building in Brussels, so see you then. But for me and all the team here at Core London, have a fantastic start to your Wednesday.